Ever wondered how Mike Mentzer achieved his incredible physique? Dive into the world of this bodybuilding legend, who broke the mold with his innovative approach to training. Born in the heartland of Pennsylvania, Mentzer took the bodybuilding world by storm, introducing a philosophy that turned conventional wisdom on its head. His secret? The heavy-duty training method, a unique system that emphasized low-volume, high-intensity workouts. Instead of grinding through countless sets, Mentzer advocated for 1 to 3 meticulously executed sets, pushing beyond the point of failure to achieve maximum muscle growth. His early influences included the likes of Arthur Jones, the inventor of the Nautilus machines, who also championed high-intensity training. Drawing from these sources, Mentzer crafted his own signature approach, blending theoretical knowledge with practical application. Stay tuned to learn how Mike Mentzer defied conventional bodybuilding wisdom to achieve his legendary physique. Mike Mentzer wasn't always the icon of bodybuilding we know him as today. In his early days, like many others, he followed the traditional high-volume training routines. These were workouts comprising a high number of sets for each muscle group, which was the predominant approach during that era. As a young man in the late 60s, Mentzer was captivated by the world of bodybuilding. He began his journey with the basics, the popular routines of the time. His training sessions were grueling marathons, often involving 20 to 30 sets per muscle group. His dedication was unwavering, yet his results plateaued, leaving him searching for more effective methods. This search led him to the doorstep of high-intensity training, or HIIT, a training methodology that centered around performing fewer sets but with maximum effort. This was a radical departure from the norm, but Mentzer was intrigued. The notion of achieving more with less resonated with him. He began to experiment, slowly integrating elements of HIIT into his own routine. His workouts started to look different, less volume, more intensity. Instead of performing dozens of sets with moderate weight, he focused on doing just 1 to 3 sets per exercise. But these weren't your average sets. Each one was performed with absolute intensity, and often pushed beyond failure. He was no longer just lifting weights, he was pushing his body to its absolute limits. This was the dawn of Mentzer's unique approach to bodybuilding, a philosophy that would later evolve into his trademark heavy-duty training. He was starting to see the benefits of this high-intensity, low-volume approach. His body was responding, his muscles were growing, and he was breaking through his previous plateaus. But Mentzer's training philosophy was about to undergo a significant evolution. He was on the brink of redefining his training approach, one that would not only transform his physique, but also leave a lasting impact on the world of bodybuilding, and all this was just the beginning. As Mentzer continued his bodybuilding journey, he began to refine his training philosophy. His approach to training, which he dubbed heavy duty, underwent a significant evolution, shifting focus from high-volume workouts to high-intensity ones. In the early stages of his career, Mentzer was a proponent of the traditional high-volume training approach, often completing multiple sets of each exercise. However, over time he began to question this methodology, noticing that despite the high volume, his muscle growth had plateaued. This led him to explore alternative training methods, eventually leading him down the path of intensity over volume. Mentzer began to experiment with reducing the number of sets he performed. Instead of completing 5 or 6 sets for each exercise, he started doing only 1 to 3 sets. But don't be fooled, these were not your average sets. Each one was performed with perfect intensity, pushing his muscles to their absolute limits and often beyond failure. He believed that this method of training stimulated maximum muscle growth, as it forced the muscles to adapt to the intense stress placed upon them. He reasoned that if one set performed with maximum intensity could stimulate muscle growth, then any additional sets were simply unnecessary and could actually hinder progress by leading to overtraining. This was a radical departure from the traditional high-volume approach, but Mentzer was a man who was not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. His relentless pursuit of intensity in training didn't stop there. He continued to experiment with various techniques to increase the intensity of his workouts, such as forced reps, negatives, and static holds. He believed that these techniques, when used correctly, could further enhance muscle growth by providing an even greater stimulus to the muscles. Mentzer's evolving training philosophy was not without its critics. However, he remained steadfast in his belief that intensity was the key to unlocking maximum muscle growth. He argued that it wasn't about how much you lift or how many reps you do, but rather how hard you push your muscles in each and every set. This commitment to intensity over volume would become the cornerstone of Mentzer's training philosophy. a philosophy that would forever change the way many bodybuilders approach their training. At the peak of his career, Mentzer's training philosophy had fully evolved into what we now know as heavy-duty training. Now, when we talk about Mentzer's training at his zenith, we're talking about a routine that was honed to perfection. Mentzer was a firm believer in the power of intensity and the impact of pushing your body beyond its limits. His training sessions were a testament to this belief, as he would only do 1 to 3 sets per exercise. Yes, you heard it right, only 1 to 3 sets. But these were not your ordinary sets. Each set was performed with such intensity that it would leave even the most seasoned bodybuilders gasping for breath. Mentzer believed in the concept of one set to failure, where he would perform a single set of an exercise with such intensity and focus that he would reach the point of absolute muscular failure. He was not just satisfied with reaching failure. No, he pushed his body beyond failure. He would often employ techniques like forced reps, negatives, and static holds to squeeze out every last ounce of effort from his muscles. This approach to training was revolutionary and was quite different from the high-volume routines that were popular at that time. But Mentzer was not one to blindly follow the crowd. He believed in the science of bodybuilding and was always experimenting and refining his methods to get the best results. And the results were there for everyone to see. Mentzer's physique was a reflection of his training philosophy. His muscles were dense, his conditioning was top-notch, and his strength was off the charts. His physique was a perfect blend of size, symmetry, and conditioning, a testament to the effectiveness of his heavy-duty training. Mentzer's approach may seem extreme to some, but there's no denying the impact it had on his physique. He pushed his body to its absolute limits, and his physique responded by growing bigger, stronger, and more defined. Mentzer's heavy-duty training philosophy had clearly paid off, as evidenced by his incredible physique. Mentzer's training philosophy has had a significant impact on the world of bodybuilding. This statement is a testament to the far-reaching influence of Mike Mentzer's unique approach to training. You see, Mentzer's philosophy was not just about the number of sets or the weight on the bar, it was a paradigm shift, a complete rethinking of what it meant to train and build muscle. Mentzer's emphasis on intensity over volume flipped conventional wisdom on its head. At a time when most bodybuilders were focusing on the amount of time they spent in the gym, Mentzer was honing in on the quality of each and every rep. His belief in the power of 1 to 3 perfect sets done with absolute intensity was revolutionary, and it resonated with many within the fitness community. This philosophy wasn't just a fad or a quick fix, it became a movement, influencing a generation of bodybuilders, both amateur and professional. It challenged the status quo and encouraged trainers and athletes alike to question the traditional approach to bodybuilding. It asked them to consider not just how much they were lifting, but how they were lifting it. The focus shifted from quantity to quality, from mere volume to sheer intensity. Mentzer's training philosophy also brought about a change in the perception of bodybuilding. It demonstrated that bodybuilding was not just about physical strength, but also about mental fortitude. It took immense mental strength to push beyond failure, to dig deep within oneself and find the willpower to lift that weight one more time. This was the essence of Mentzer's heavy-duty training philosophy. The ripple effects of Mentzer's philosophy can still be seen today. Bodybuilders around the globe continue to incorporate his principles into their training routines, recognizing the value in prioritizing intensity over volume. His teachings have withstood the test of time, proving that they are not trends, but timeless truths in the world of bodybuilding. Mentzer's heavy-duty training philosophy continues to influence bodybuilders to this day. Indeed, the legacy of Mike Mentzer lives on, a testament to the power of intensity, the value of quality over quantity, and the profound impact of a single man's philosophy on the world of bodybuilding. So, how can you incorporate Mentzer's heavy-duty training philosophy into your own workout routine? Well, let's start by summarizing the key aspects of Mentzer's training philosophy. He believed in a less is more approach, focusing on 1 to 3 sets per exercise with perfect intensity and beyond failure. He challenged the conventional wisdom of high-volume training and instead advocated for high-intensity workouts. Now, based on these principles, here's a basic weekly workout plan for you to try. Day 1, focus on chest and back. Day 2, arms and shoulders. Day 3, rest. Day 4, legs and abs. Day 5, rest, repeat. Remember, each workout should consist of only 1 to 3 sets per exercise. Concentrate on the quality of your reps, not the quantity. With this plan, you too can experience the benefits of Mike Mentzer's revolutionary heavy-duty training philosophy. Remember, it's not about the volume, it's about the intensity.